Hello, today I wanted to talk about decorating for Halloween. I didn't feel like taking my decorations out of storage this year, so I decided let's go with paper. I think this is a great alternative for people who want to decorate a workspace or a classroom or even a small bedroom but don't want to spend a lot of money. It's cohesive, looks really good together, and it's budget friendly. It's also really easy to store. You can deconstruct it, flatten it out, and put it in a small box for next year. But since it is paper, you can also just recycle it and not have to worry about storage at all. I would like to do more videos like this for the holidays to come, so if you do like this video, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe because there will be more content coming out soon. Thank you so much, and let's get to the video. For this paper craft, we are going to need a piece of paper, any kind will do. I'm using black cardstock. We're going to fold the paper hamburger style, some would call it. Then we are going to take a pencil and draw the outline of a cat's head. We are drawing only half of the cat's head, and we are starting on the folded side of the paper. It doesn't have to be perfect, it always ends up looking good, no matter the shape of the cat's head or how big its ears are. Once it's unfolded, it looks really good. Now we are drawing half of a triangle for the cat's nose. Then we are going to make 3 whiskers to take up most of the cat's face. We do this by drawing rectangles. So now we're going to cut the head out for the whiskers. You want to fold the paper a little and then cut slits in the paper to get you started, and then those rectangles will come out. And so now we're going to erase the pencil marks so we don't see those when we unfold the paper. And now we're unfolding it to reveal our cat. But we aren't done yet. We're going to take another piece of paper and we're going to fold that again just like we did before. And now we're going to fold half of our cat and put it on top of the piece of paper. Now we're going to take our pencil and trace the outline of our cat on the new paper. This will give us an identical image, and we're going to cut this out, and now we have the same cat twice. You can do this several times and even make a garland out of it. For this paper craft, we will need a piece of paper. I'm using black cardstock. We're going to start by folding the paper. Take the left corner of our paper and fold it at an angle up towards the top right of the paper, making sure to line up those edges evenly. Then we are going to do this again. Take the left side of our paper and line it to the right, basically starting a paper airplane. Make sure to fold and flatten those creases. Then we are going to flip the paper over and use the smallest line to cut a half of a circle on the top of our paper. Flipping it back over, we are going to identify the folded side of our paper. Taking a pencil, we will begin drawing rectangles, starting at the fold and going inward, making sure the end of the rectangles before they reach the other side. If you can, do this following the shape of the top of the paper, putting a dip in the rectangles. Continue all the way down, making rectangles smaller as you go. Cut all the rectangles out, starting at the fold. Then we're going to take our eraser and we're going to erase the pencil lines that we made on our paper. Finally, we're going to start to unfold the paper to reveal our corner spider web. For this paper craft, I'm using a 9 by 12 piece of black cardstock. We will start by folding our paper in half, hamburger style. Flipping our paper so that the crease is facing us, fold the paper in half again, hamburger style. Unfold the paper once. Take the bottom right edge of your paper and fold it towards the center crease. Make sure to flatten that fold well. Take the right side of your paper and fold it to the left, letting it naturally fold on the crease we made earlier. Take the bottom left of your paper and fold it up, lining it with the right edge of your paper. Take the top left of your paper and fold it to the right again, lining it with the edge once more. Opening your paper a little, you will see a short piece of paper. Use that as a guide to cut a half circle into your paper on the top. Find the folded edge of your paper and start drawing rectangles going from the fold to the center, making sure to stop before you reach the other side. Follow the half circle shape on the top of your paper, making dips in your rectangles. Continue all the way down, making the rectangles smaller as you go. Cut all the rectangles out of your paper, starting at the folded edge. Making sure not to rip your paper, unfold it slowly and reveal your full paper spiderweb. For this paper craft, we will start with one piece of paper, a pencil, and a ruler. I am using marker just for this video. We are going to divide the paper into 8 sections going horizontally. It doesn't matter what size paper you use as long as it's divided evenly into 8 parts. I'm using a 9 by 12 piece of cardstock, so I'll first mark my paper at the halfway mark, which in my case is 6 inches. Then I will make marks at 3 and 9 inches. After that, I will be making marks at 1.5, 4.5, 7.5, and 10.5. I'm doing this on both sides of the paper to get a straighter line. Once we have everything marked, we can start connecting the lines. Turn our paper vertically and measure 1/2 inch from the top of the paper. Mark this, then do it again at the bottom of the paper and connect the lines. On the other side of the paper, we're going to make a mark at 1.5 inches at the top. Do this on the bottom as well and then connect the lines. Then turn the paper back horizontally and cut out the 8 sections. Ignore the lines in the middle for now. Take one of our strips of paper and focus on the side with the line spaced at 1.5 inches. This will be our larger side. Slightly fold the paper and make a slit in the center of that section. Fold the paper slightly in the other direction and make another slit. This gives us a hole in our paper that resembles an X. Do this for all the paper strips, making sure not to make any cuts out of the 1.5 inch spacing. Then we are going to fold our paper strip in half. Making sure that the large side is facing us, cut 2 lines down the middle of the fold. Unfold the paper and finish the lines going towards the smaller spacing. Smooth out any creases in the middle of the paper strips. Continue doing this, making sure to always cut on the larger side of the paper and continue to cut through to the smaller side. We are going to take another piece of paper, it doesn't have to be a full-size sheet, and we are going to make a small fold on the edge. We are then going to continue to roll this fold until we get a good thickness. This will become the stem of our pumpkin. Make sure your paper is tightly rolled. Do not hesitate to fold or refold your paper several times until it looks good. Cut off any extra. Use tape to secure the center of your stem. Do not worry so much about taping the ends because they will get trimmed away. Taking 2 of our paper strips, we will tape 2 of the small ends together. Make sure that the sides of the strips that have writing on them are facing up towards us. Taking 2 more strips and laying them on top of the strips we just taped, making sure to lay them on the opposite sides. Push those 2 paper strips together, but leave a slight gap in the middle. Place a piece of tape on the 2 paper strips. Make sure the gap in the middle is being taped as well. Repeat this step, moving the strips around so that they intersect in the middle, making them lay in a circle. At this point, all 8 strips should be taped together. Taking our rolled pumpkin stem, we will cut a line on the bottom of the paper. Turn it to the other side and pinch the bottom, then cut another line. This cut doesn't have to be too deep, about 1 inch in length will do. We then want to fold the part of the paper we just cut, making it lay outwards, flattening it with our hands. Try to get these pieces as flat as possible to ensure that the stem stands straight. Take some tape and tape the flattened pieces to the middle of our paper strips. Continue to reinforce the stems on all sides. Our pumpkin stem should be sticking up. We will then take 1 strip of paper and hold it towards the stem of the pumpkin. Cut the stem lower to match the height of the paper strips. We will then take one of the strips and slide the stem through the X we made on the top of each strip. Do this for all 8 strips. We can then adjust the strips of paper to fill any gaps. Move the strips up and down and adjust the height of our pumpkin. We can also decide to trim the stem more if we want to. And that's our pumpkin, all done. First, we will take one of our pieces of paper and a ruler. I'm using some white cardstock to better show the process. Taking our paper, we are going to place it horizontally in front of us. We are going to divide the paper into 8 sections. I am using a marker for this, but you should use a pencil so that you can erase the lines later. I am making a mark in the middle of my paper at 6 inches. Then I will be making marks at 3 and 9 inches to divide the paper evenly into thirds. Finally, I'm making marks at 1.5, 4.5, 7.5, and 10.5. This will divide the paper into 8 sections. We will be doing this for both the top and the bottom of our paper. Now I am connecting the 2 lines together, but this isn't necessary and you do not need to do this. Now we are going to fold our paper following the lines we made. For your first fold, line the side edges of your paper together, ensuring a straight fold. After this, you will get a straight fold every time. For your second fold, you will fold the paper in the opposite direction, matching up with your second mark. Continue to do this back and forth, creating an accordion fold. We are going to do this for 6 pieces of paper. If you have pattern paper, make sure you start 3 of your folds facing the pattern side and 3 facing the back side of your pattern. Since I am using plain purple cardstock, I do not need to worry about this. Now we are going to take 2 of our pieces of folded cardstock, making sure to have one fold facing forward and one backwards. We will tape these 2 pieces together by rolling our tape and placing it on the inside. Once we connect the 2 pieces, we are going to refold our paper, folding the creases to make sure everything is secure. We will continue to do this for all 6 pieces of paper until we have them all attached in a row, making sure we flip each paper in the right direction while attaching them. When taping our pieces, we want to make sure we leave a small gap with no tape at the bottom of our paper. The tape should start at least 1 to 2 inches above the bottom of the paper. Once everything is taped, we will take our pencil and poke holes through the bottom of each fold in our paper where we left a gap. The holes should be centered at the bottom. Do this for each of the 8 sections and for every piece of paper. You can also do this with a hole puncher if you have one available. Taking our fishing wire, we are going to thread it through each hole, making sure to hold our paper tightly together to ensure a tighter thread. Doing this through each hole, we will try to pull the thread as tight as possible without ripping the paper. We are now almost done with our rosette. Next, we are going to unthread the wire on the first and the last fold of our paper. Taking tape, tape the first and the last fold together, the same way we taped all 6 papers together. Make sure to avoid taping the fishing wire. Next, take a new piece of paper and draw 2 circles out on the paper. It doesn't have to be perfect as long as they are around the same size. Cut these circles out. Then, using a pencil, we are going to poke 2 holes in the middle of both of our circles, resembling a button. Taking our fishing wire and one of our circles, thread the wire starting under the circle through one of the holes. Now from the front side of our circle, thread the fishing wire through the second hole, pulling it back to the bottom of the circle. Taking that same fishing wire, pull it through the middle of our rosette to the other side. Flip the rosette over and repeat the threading process with our second circle. Once done, tie the fishing wire together, making sure to make several knots. Then make sure to cut any extra fishing wire. We are going to make it so that our rosette hangs on the wall. Choose which side of the rosette is the back and which is the front. Turn the rosette to the back. Take some fishing wire and thread it through the wire in the middle of our rosette. Pull the wire to one side and measure how long you would like your rosette to hang. Cut any excess wire and tie a knot. Pull the knot to the middle of the rosette. Tape the middle of the rosette where the knot and the rest of the wire meets. Then pull the wire over the top of the rosette and tape the wire at the top to secure it even more. Finally, take anything that might look good on the front center of our rosette. I am using a bat that I created in an earlier tutorial. Secure it with tape and it's ready to hang.